Talk. Hey guys, thanks for joining us today. Today you got myself, Captain Coop, and then we have our local talent, Major McFarland.
What's up, guys?
Thanks for joining us again. Hey, we really appreciate it. I wanted to send out a thank you for everybody who worked over the weekend. This was a tough weekend for us.
Chiefs football season's always,
just wanted to say thanks.
If somebody wants time off for the game, I'm more than happy. We're more than happy to do it, but don't throw your uncle under the bus to visit a relative in the hospital because that's why you can't come into work and stuff like that. It's like, come on now. But no, more than happy to give you time off for a game. Don't just call out the day of just because it really puts us in a bind. So, and I'm not saying everybody does that, but there's just a handful of times where it's the Chiefs are playing. There's an uptick in illnesses.
Absolutely.
Usually,
So, Chiefs and Royals.
shoot us straight, guys. Just shoot us straight.
Yeah. We'll always be willing to help you guys out the best we can when it comes to stuff like that. If there's a particular game you want to see, you bring this up. I was just talking to a buddy of mine. He works at a department, and they got somebody who applied, and his father passed away a couple of years ago. Well, his father had paid for what are they called, the season tickets, and to honor live on his father's memory. Every year they buy season tickets, and so he requested every Sunday off to go to the Chiefs games, and the department was like, hey, it's a family thing. We're kind of thinking about it. And he looks up and he goes, hey, can I ask a question about it? And they start they do the full breakdown of it. And I'm like, well, it's only 3 games that he needs off for because everything else is out of state. Why don't we just give him those 3 off instead of giving him every Sunday? It's like, well, that's the kind of smart thing.
Yeah, that's because it makes sense.
Yeah, it's when if you've got season tickets or you've got tickets to a particular game, be straightforward and be like, hey, so I bought tickets for 6 weeks from now for the Chiefs game that's home. I'd like to take it off. Yeah. We can probably work something out, but if you just carte blanche, hey, I need Sundays off for football.
Yeah. Yep.
If only.
And there's some of those, some guys are like, hey, I just got tickets last minute, instead of calling and saying, hey, I'm sick. I'm like, okay. No, just tell me you got tickets and we'll make it work, just shoot us straight. So we appreciate the honesty. But
thanks for joining us, guys. I'll see you in there. Suzanne, it's good to see you. Gary, good to see you. He who shall not be named, thank you for joining us.
Who's that?
You know who it is.
Can't remember.
Yeah, I've told you before. But yeah, so
I definitely forget.
We wanted to do today Career Corner. We wanted to kind of bring back that segment. We like that one. And we wanted to talk about schools. With schools starting this week and next week, depending on the school, we wanted to bring it up and kind of give a little bit more information about what expectations are, what you should be looking for, how to handle certain situations. Everything's going to kind of be, it's going to be changing because it's a school, so there are things that, you deal with that are different every day. But there are some normalities and things that you would expect to see at a school. And we kind of wanted to go over that a little bit with the school starting. It was kind of the perfect opportunity for it.
Yeah, so. I'm actually in the process of getting 3 different schools set up right now. Each school is different, and like he said, some of the things are the same. Obviously, keeping appropriate behavior, watch your language, stuff like that. There's posts where it's a construction site, you can say whatever you want. There's nobody there on the overnights or whatever. But when you're around children and a lot of these schools are faith based, and so just minding your P's and Q's and understanding that there's a time and a place for having a good time. There's a time and place where it's time to go to work and make sure that school is safe, the staff is safe, the perimeter is secure, and then from there you can kind of branch out into how each school is a little different. I won't say who it is, but there's one school where you have 2 different schools, or one school that has 2 different locations, and one is for the early education, so kindergarten, preschool through probably 5th grade, usually when elementary stops.
Yeah.
In most schools. Mine was 1st through 5th grade was elementary, middle school was 6th through 8, and then 9 through 12 was high school. So I know some states or some schools do it different. Yeah, some districts do it differently. But so that's kind of the generalization there. The lower early education center doesn't want really any interaction with the officer. If a family member comes in to talk, it's just because it's a new concept for the kids, to see. And most of our guys wear the outer vest, and they're okay with that. And obviously, and our guys armed. Unfortunately nowadays it's becoming more and more common that there's a real dire need for security at school at places of education,
whether that be private security or an RSO, a school SRO, excuse me, by the department. coming to that point where more and more schools are opting into that kind of a look because they want to make sure that not only the kids feel safe, but the parents feel safe and the teachers do.
Yeah.
And that's where it's going.
Yeah. And so that early education, there's very minimal interaction. It's all directed to our point of contact through the school, which is the principal, not the president, is the principal of that school. And then the high school, they're a little more lenient on the interaction. You know, obviously still keep it appropriate and, you know, watch language and stuff like that. But the approach that they like is, you know, get to know the kids a little bit, you know when to kind of, hey, go on about your day,
Yep.
you know, but they're okay with
Having
some
those-
interaction just because the children are more mentally mature, and so they can handle that interaction, whereas little kids could be a little more scared, and so we're just avoiding that by strictly not zero, but very little interaction with the kids. And then there's schools that have early education or the younger kids, and they're perfectly fine with them interacting. An officer we used to have, he actually went on to be a police officer. He has a picture. He worked at another site, and he had worked at a school for a while, and he had a picture that the kids drew of him, and it had all the kids, hanging out with him and stuff. And so there was obviously a relationship built there. And
we've had it at some of the other schools that we've done where the officers will go on to better things, either with us or with a department or somewhere else. And the last day of school, the kids find out, and they're like, "Hey, I want to take a picture," and they'll take, hundreds of selfies.
Yeah,
with the school officer that's there and stuff like that. And having that type of relationship, as long as the school is good with it, and you've got that, not necessarily a personal relationship, but you're on a good standing with the kids.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that. Knowing when to what to talk about and when to stop talking and get them on their way back into class.
That's the biggest
huge.
thing, because I fall victim of that here, just BSing with coworkers. There's times we'll be in the hallway and we'll start talking about something that's non-work related, and before I know, I'm like, shit, I got other shit I got to do. Like, I got to get back to work, man. I'm falling behind. So it's knowing, how to approach that with, a professional and respectful manner, and that's why those guys end up going on to departments, or they end up finding a home there forever at the school, because that's, really finite customer service skills that are not required at other locations as much, at least. The first question on our employee quiz, those of you that don't work first and want to, I'll give you the first answer for free. It's, what's the most important thing in this industry is customer service. And it just really
100%.
is being able to talk to people, and a part of that too for the middle school and high schools. Part of that is those kids could be coming from, a pretty bad relationship at home, or having a tough day, and they want the officer to recognize that and then go to an administrator and say, hey, little Johnny is he's not himself today, so maybe get a counselor or somebody will go talk to him and find out that he's got some stuff going on. It's not for us to diagnose, but it's for us to maybe pick up on and say, hey, he just doesn't seem himself. How that happens here too, that we all have bad days.
Yep.
And there's days where you're just not feeling yourself, or maybe didn't sleep or eat right or whatever. And, it's nice to know somebody's there that's going to say, hey, is everything okay? And most of the time, all of us, what do we all do? We all go, yeah, it's fine. Everything's fine. Just suppress it. And then there's those of us that are very, expressive, and will have a mental breakdown in the middle of the workday. But for the most part,
Not naming
people,
any names.
I've had a few of those. It's usually a lot of yelling, a lot of running around.
Crying.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure I have probably, but just in the corner.
But so it's
But
one of those things, knowing when you can pick up on those little traits, and you can see that and be able to tell one of the teachers and say, hey, I was talking to him yesterday and he seemed okay, but today he just seems a little off. You might want to check in with him, and that little things like that make the client happy. But again, making sure that we're within the bounds of what we're supposed to be doing.
Yep.
And for those of our officers who work at the schools, a few of you have been at those schools for a little bit, and you know what you're supposed to be doing. Some of you are new, and we'll help you kind of, we'll guide you down that path. We'll help you float that river per se, and make sure that we're staying within the bounds. And if you have questions, comments, or concerns, always reach out to your supervisors, because that's what we're here for. Is we're here to help you, guide you down that path, and make sure that everything's done correctly. And
we've probably had to navigate that problem before, so it kind of seems conceded a little bit, but there's it just comes from the years of doing it, the experience. No one's really necessarily. There's some people are obviously better at other things than others, but for the most part, all the supervisors here have really just put in the time, you know, and it's just because they've had to experience that. And I've got a few supervisors now that will come to me frequently and just say, hey, what can I do better? What can I do different? And I said, honestly, guys, you know, guy or girl, whoever it is, and say, hey, you're doing a fantastic job. Because if you weren't, I would let you know. You know, I'm the
Real
first person
quick.
to say, hey, we're having some issues with this. I need you to really make sure, because I get it from my boss. You know, he calls himself the world's largest sticky note. Well, I've learned to do that with my guys and just constantly help remind them, because we got so much going on and we're going in so many different directions that things are going to get dropped. And it's nice to have somebody to kind of come behind you and pick up and say, hey, you forgot about this. It's okay. You know, we didn't miss the deadline, but we need to make sure we're still focused on this. And it just helps, you know, kind of groom my guys into be able to do that. And it really kind of just makes that organization of your workday better.
Yeah.
If I didn't have the discipline I have to stay as organized, it's chaotically organized as it seems at times. But I learned a lot of that from my boss, and I'm trying to teach my guys the same thing. And so when they ask me that, you know, I just say, honestly, the only thing you can do is just have more time in the
Industry.
in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Because there's an analogy I'll use. The guy that runs the excavator that's kind of just barely, you know, looks like he's barely paying attention. He's been doing it for 25 years.
Yep.
You know, and so he makes it look really easy when he's lifting the boom and curling at the same time and spinning and dropping. And it's a show I watch is, oh gosh, dang, what's it called? Gold Rush. And I love that show. It's fascinating. All they do is wash rocks the entire time just to catch gold. But there's, you know, some drama and stuff. But for the most part, it's just these big machines, you know, mining, and these guys that are doing it, you know, they got their feet kicked up, and it's because they put a lot of hours on the machine, and so they, you know, it's just experience. And that's what I tell these guys all the time. I said, you just need to have more hours in the
experience.
driver's seat.
Yeah.
And because a problem's going to come up that I don't think to tell you about or prep you on, that you're going to have to learn in the field on your own.
Yep.
You know, whether that be 3 people call off at the same time, you know, for 3 different shifts, and you only have 2 people to cover, you know, how do you make this work? And, you know, a big part of our job is pulling rabbits out of hats, and those that are able to do it well move up quicker, and that's just usually.
You have gotten well off topic.
I don't care. Usually that's because they're just good at it, you know, and that's because they've spent a lot more time doing it. So,
But it works the same with the school with either a security officer or an SRO. You know, those little things that you're talking about where you notice, you know, the supervisors notice the multiple call-offs or something like that. Those are all traits that can stem from working at on-site. When you're talking to the same, you know, 100 students and you notice something's off, that's the same kind of cue that you're looking at as an officer, as a supervisor. So those little traits where he's talking about that come from working in the field, you know, and so it starts at a post and then translates into patrol or whatever route you go with the company. But those are the little traits that you pick up on that when it comes to being a supervisor come in way handy.
Yep.
We got Nerm here who says that some of the best moments with Titan were during his 2.5 years working as a school officer. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, he's a perfect example.
He's a great example.
That place loved him.
The staff was really upset at us when he left, and when we told him that he was going on to bigger and better things, they completely understood. But it was still like that, you know, hey, I'm losing that perfect resource that we have.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're 100% correct. But we're going to replace him. We're going to try and give you someone as good as him, which that's really hard with Nerm.
Yeah, Nerm's a workhorse.
But
to talk about that, perfect example of what we asked for in a school resource officer. The staff loved him. The kids loved him. He was personable, but also understood the main objective there was security.
Yep.
So he didn't get caught up, you know, compromising security by spending too much time hanging out and stuff. Yeah, just,
and that's the goal is to find that line where you can have a personal connection, but you keep it very professional on the same note, where you can know the students by name, know the teachers by name, but still have the recognition of authority as the officer for the school, and finding that line, and then knowing where that not a gray line or a little line, but where that big line is, and being able to stay there.
Yep.
So
hope you're doing well, Nerm. I need to come out and visit you soon. So
you should.
I was just out there for 2 weeks. And you guys gave me hell about it the entire time.
Well, yeah, because Nerm wasn't there.
I know. Well, he was on vacation. I was happy to cover, but you guys were like, oh, you're on vacation too. I'm like, I'm still working.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was.
No, you weren't. You were
You're
just
saying
sitting there.
Nerm doesn't work?
No, I'm saying you don't work.
What? I was doing Nerm's job.
Yeah, I know.
I was covering for Nerm. I'm the only one right now that can. That's allowed to.
That's not true.
Yeah, it is actually.
You haven't seen anybody else yet?
No, because they have to go through their HR process.
Okay.
That's some red tape they got to go through.
Fun.
They're getting and they're much more strict now. So
Yeah.
but
So
Brant will be the next one.
Yes, he will. But with being going back to the career corner with the school resource, being the security there, the big thing to kind of keep an eye on is not just the kids and not just the teachers, but the main thing that we're there for is just to make sure that the property is secured. So some of the schools have fences and have gates. Some of them don't. Some of them are more of a private setting versus some of them being more in a public setting where they're easily accessed.
Yep.
And knowing that, hey, when I get to this property, what am I looking at? What cameras do we have? Do I have access to those? Where are my main points? We've got a couple of schools that have that are completely fenced in, that have gates that are motorized, and you need an access code to get in, or someone to punch the button and let you in. So you've got full coverage on the security on the outside for the gate, but you still want to make sure that there's no holes in it. No one's jumping the gate and stuff like that. When you've got one without a fence line like that, you got to know where's your main traffic in the area, and being able to identify those and say, hey, this is where my main weak points are, and this is where I need to focus. That's a big thing too, is because that's when
adaptable.
Exactly. You'll know where that stuff's coming from, and so be better able to.
They
determine.
could have a fire drill that day. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. If you're interested, like I did say, I think I've got 1 or 2 spots open still for one of the schools. There's it's a very healthy pay rate. So if you guys are interested in moving into a school or want a shot at it, I am taking some interviews. So if the 6 people that watch this, I think we know most of them. They all actually like where they're at. But if any of you want to apply, let us know. Shoot me or Coop an email, and we'll get you slotted. That's probably going to happen within the next 4 to 5 days. So I need you to act fast.
Quick, fast, in a hurry.
As far as school goes, it's a good gig. You get weekends off every once in a while, depending on the
holidays,
school.
and then
there's going to be some extra
school events and stuff like
events
that
you can work. So that'll help. They always like to have the main officer do that if possible. So a little bit of extra shifts here and there are always nice. Take your significant other for a nice dinner. So.
Yeah.
Other than that, what was it? I think it was one other thing we were going to talk about. Pumpkin spice lattes.
Oh no!
They have a pumpkin.
It is
spice.
not time for that yet, is
They
it?
have pumpkin spice Wendy's Frosty coming out.
No, they don't.
Yeah, I think it's true. Ooh,
that's gross.
Burger King has the. I don't really like Burger King. They use too much liquid smoke. It kind of makes my stomach hurt. Not that I'm against a good smoky burger, but just not a huge fan. And
there's a limit.
Yeah, I had too much of it in college, I think, because. That's a story for a different time, but they're coming out with the snack wraps. I saw it.
Really?
Honey mustard, original, and I think a spicy.
Wasn't there another one that did that? McDonald's
used to,
yeah.
And everybody's complaining McDonald's doesn't have it. I wish they would bring their snack wraps back. The McSnack.
I can't eat McDonald's anymore. Messes.
I had it
with me.
today. It's awful.
Yeah,
it's awful,
and that's why I don't eat it.
But it's literally at the end of our parking lot, and that's my excuse.
So is Jersey Mike's.
Yeah, every single time, and sorry, Jersey Mike's, if you're listening, the guy that owns Jersey Mike's, which I know he's not, but if he ever comes across this, the guys at this location are cool and nice, but they, and you know this for a fact, have never once gotten my order right. And I don't ask for anything specific.
He really doesn't.
They'll forget to put bacon, or they'll forget to put whatever on it. It's like every time.
And the funny part is they've never messed up my order.
Yeah, 4 pounds of bacon, a little bit of lettuce, and a couple tomatoes.
Jalapenos.
Oh yeah, that's right, and jalapenos. And they'll see him walk, like, oh shit, they gotta go back to the back room and come back with a bucket of bacon. It's like, oh, Coop's here.
I walked in today and the guy looks at the bacon. It was great. It's the same manager.
He looks at the bacon. He's like, we don't have enough.
He looks at the bacon. He looks, sees me walk in the door. He looks at the bacon. He looks over at the guy and he goes, "We need the other pan."
Yeah, we need a Coop pan.
Like, what?
They have the dates with on marker. It's just Coop's bacon.
But other than that, we're going to cut to the weather real quick, and then we'll let you guys get back to your day and your week. So as of right now, we're looking Tuesday is 77, Wednesday 86, Thursday 88, Friday 87, and Saturday 94 with sunny skies all week. And then Sunday, they're saying, is 94 with cloud covers in the afternoon.
100 is when we read it on Friday.
Yeah, so it's going to be moderately warm to warm all week. Oh, that's the wrong one.
Texting Connor.
So it's going to be pretty warm all week. Make sure that you're dressing for the weather. You're making sure that you guys are taking care of yourselves, because we need you as healthy as possible forever, for not just our sakes, but for your own. And then the big thing there is hydration. Yep. I'm going to say it again. Hydration is the day before, not the day after. So we appreciate it, guys. Other than that, I don't really have anything else for you guys. We appreciate it so much. If again you guys are interested in becoming a school, becoming an officer who works at a school, send myself or Major McFarland an email. Let us know, and we'll get you down for an interview for it. We do have a couple of those spots left open that we are actively looking for some reliable officers to take in and place into those. So we appreciate it, guys, so much. Thank you for everything you do. It allows us to continue to do stuff like this and every twice a week. I was gonna say every week, twice a week. And
I probably won't be here Friday. I'm taking PTO Friday.
Correct. I will have another guest.
My replacement.
And then we're actually going to be having a special guest next week. I'm not going to give too much away because it's going to be fun. It's going to be a good introduction for him. So
oh yeah, I
look
forgot
forward to
you
that.
got me on that stupid video last Friday.
Yeah,
He's full of secrets now. Coop and his little secrets. So yeah, guys, be careful out there. Obviously, some of you also are aware that the Fairway police officer was laid to rest today. So be sure to take care of each other. Remember, at the end of the day, if you're healthy and have your family, you're doing a lot better than a lot of people. So that one hit the chief pretty hard. So that was his old department. It was actually the shift he worked. So you just never know anymore, guys. You know,
keep each other safe.
Yeah.
Keep yourself safe. So the whole end goal is to go home at the end of the day.
Yep.
So we appreciate it so much, guys. Again, thank you so much for everything, and we will catch you guys on Friday. Thanks, guys.
Take care.